So Tata Motors announced a reset of sorts today to unlock future value of the company in the coming decade. So Tata Motors will undergo a demerger now to list both its CV as well as PV businesses. So one company will be for commercial vehicles, its trucks and buses. The passenger vehicle business will be for cars, Nexon, Punch, electric vehicles, basically those very cars in electric form, and the Jaguar Land Rover piece, the crown jewel in the Tata stable. Why is Tata Motors doing this, Harsh?
Well, it's clearly to unlock value, Tushar. All these three businesses have now reached a critical stage of maturity of sorts, and therefore it believes, rather, the company believes that it's an opportune time to unlock value. It also allows investors to participate in specific stories. The CV story, which is at play with regard to buses, trucks. It's the largest manufacturer of trucks in the country, and therefore that is one play for investors. The other play is, of course, with EV and JLR. So if someone wants to participate separately in the EV JLR story, as of today you could not do that. Now you can. It opens those doors and unlocks that value.
Yeah, and actually, since you mentioned value unlocking, less than 6 months ago, Tata Motors listed another group company. It's actually becoming a group within itself. So, and we'll touch upon this later. It's less than 6 months ago, they listed Tata Technologies also, and at a fair valuation, so to speak. They could have charged a premium, but did not. So you think, what is the impact on the stock that will be happening? We also remember the stock has run up from March 2020. It was about 67 rupees per share. Now it's about 1,000 rupees. So what happens to these two stocks? Or is it too early to ask that question?
No, I believe that there will be a reaction on the stock price tomorrow. It likely ought to be a positive reaction because it's clearly value unlocking which is going to happen. Each shareholder is going to now receive one share in the CV business, one share in the PV business, and therefore the value that gets unlocked is far more. Also, the other piece is with regard to the way margins have moved over the last 8 to 10 quarters. There's been a steady improvement across businesses with regard to where margins are concerned. JLR has recovered fairly well. Your 3 billion pounds of debt has now been reduced to 1 billion. Very soon to become zilch, probably by end of next year, if things were to
That's
continue
the goal,
to go.
apparently, by Tata Motors.
Yeah, so if things were to go or were to continue in this direction, it would probably become zero by end of next year, which is again a deep positive. Therefore, things are looking up. It's a time where business has picked up fairly well even on the PV side of things.
Yeah. So what we are looking at essentially the most opportune time to go for such a split, so to speak. So let's talk about the risks that may be with the companies. The PV piece. What are the risks? We know that JLR sales can be a bit iffy and problems when it comes to geopolitical crisis. It starts happening there. So is that the key risk monitorable there?
I think the risk, you've got it bang on, is that generally when you have a CV and a PV business, if your CV business is doing badly, you have a PV business to balance that out. That no longer will be the case. But that is the nature of splits and demergers, that you unlock value and at the same time each business gets its own valuation, and therefore your PV business will be valued at a premium versus your CV business because it's a B2C business technically.
Okay. And what about a CV business? We know that this particular space, the trucks, the equipment space, undergoes something which is cyclicality it undergoes. Now it's on its own. So does that expose the CV business to the economy more, or does that allow Tata Motors to focus on its CV business more? What do you see? What is the sense that you get?
It definitely exposes the CV business more, it's obvious because the CV business does face cyclicality, and it won't be insulated by the PV business anymore. So as a short answer to that, yes, there will be an exposure that the CV business sees versus the merged company or the original Tata Motors now.
So Tata Motors is no longer the Tata Motors. It's actually now a group within the bigger Tata group. So Tata Motors, after about 12 to 15 months, will have at least three companies at this point of time. Tata Motors, the PV business, the Tata Motors, the CV business, and number 3, Tata Technologies. So essentially a lot of value unlocking and a group within a group.
Absolutely, Tushar, and I think it's positive for shareholders.
Absolutely. Thank you, viewers. This is the first take that we have on this. We'll have a lot more coming in as this news develops further over the next few days or so.
And we'll see a stock reaction tomorrow.
Yeah.